Good morning, Porch Chronicles. I am home from the hospital. I just drank a cup of coffee. I'm going to go lay down. I spent the night because he did have a stroke, and they monitoring him because they had to do some TCB something where they made sure it's real strong where it's like a blood thinner. He can't even get out the bed for the next 2 days because it's like if something happens and he was to fall, he would hemorrhage. And I'm like, dang. So now he's doing fine. He did get to eat because he hadn't been eating at all. He did ask to see his mom. And I was like, they know his mom is in ICU in a coma. So I said, look, the nurse said she'll do what she can tomorrow to see if they can take her to her room. Because they were going to put him in ICU last night because him not being able to get out the bed, they could monitor him more. Not that he needs to be in ICU, but ICU has the more dedicated nurses. They're not dedicated to a whole bunch of people, So, but they didn't end up putting him in there because he responded so well. Like she told us, you have a 4-hour window when you have a stroke for them to give him the medicine they gave him last night, and you come back from the stroke. I don't even think he had that stroke. He said he woke up and was ready to go eat, and he couldn't lift his arm up. He said kept trying to lift his arm up, but he couldn't lift his arm up. Then he say, when I started speaking, I noticed my mouth wasn't right. And I was like, So he said, I called the ambulance. I called the kids, and I called you. I said, okay. So he caught it real fast. But I didn't know this, but he said a couple of his aunts and uncles have had strokes too. And I'm like, dang. And he was like, yes, I know what a stroke is. I know what the symptoms are, blah, 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 from my aunt had one, my uncle had one. I'm like, I ain't know all that. He was like, yeah. I said, oh, okay. So, look, I'm going to tell you a story. When my husband ended up taking some man-made medicine that gave him something called Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and he died a year later on dialysis, I swore, I promised I would never date another man with health issues. And I didn't. Every time I got hold of a man that had health issues, I would run for the hills because I was like, I'm not doing that again. And then guess what happened? I have health issues. They're just not terrible. I allowed the shot to go for too long, and I need double knee replacements. That's the extent of what I have wrong with me. So I talked to a gentleman one time. I think he lived in Baltimore. And I always tell what's going on with my legs. I don't sugarcoat. I don't try to play nothing because I think people should know that type of stuff about you before you meet them. And we met up for the first time, and he couldn't handle my disability. And it made him feel some type of way, but he couldn't tell me couldn't handle my disability. So we had went to the Walmart to do something, and when I got in the Walmart, I couldn't find him. And I was calling his phone. I was like, what's wrong with his phone? So he blocked me, but he couldn't tell me. So I just was like, well, what happened? So then later on that day, I think it got to him, and he texted me. He said, I know you told me that you had a knee issue before we met, and I thought I could handle it. But when I met you, he was like, Ellen, you fine as all get out. He was like, but I never dated a woman with any type of issues with her body. And I was like, I understand that. I said, and he was like, I apologize for blocking you. It's just, I didn't know how to tell you that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm cool with that. But I know what it felt like to have a chemistry with someone, but they couldn't handle a part of me. That was a part of me. So when I got back, when that happened to me and I saw what it felt like, I went back and I said, if it's a good thing that I have with somebody and they have health issues, I might as well just deal with it. Because guess what? The older we get, we're going to all have health issues. And even if we don't have health issues, it don't mean we ain't going to live. It don't mean we're going to live a long time. I could walk out this door and get ran over by a bus and be in perfect health. So I don't do that anymore. And I have caregiver in me. So One thing I knew when I knew I had caregiver with me when my husband came home, it doesn't really bother me. I don't mind being there. So I love you, Porch Chronicles. I'm going in the house and do me a leg treatment. And guess what? Sleep. Have a good day.